Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel, and if this is your first time here, hello, welcome. This is Essential Patience and I am Patience, and this is officially the second video in my Simply Cooking series, and we're just making butter. We're starting off something super simple, which is just to get you in the kitchen, start making stuff, start getting excited about things. And so for the next couple of videos that I'll be posting, they're just going to be simple things that you can go into the kitchen, quickly make, and just get the habit of going in there, having some fun. And then we're going to have more full recipes coming on later this year. One of the most exciting things I like to do is make butter, and I've been now making it for my baking. I used to just buy butter and use that. I sometimes still use it, but I like using the butter that I make. Somehow it just gives it a better flavor for my baking items. And I'll be baking later today, so I am making butter. And I decided that why not film it and show people that it's so simple, it's so easy. So all you need is some heavy whipping cream. So typically if you were on a farm and then you got milk, all you have to do is wait for the cream to come on top. You take that cream and then you will have some milk cream. And then from that cream, you can make all sorts of things, including butter. This is essentially that package, because if you're not in the United States, all our milk are pasteurized, so you cannot get cream off of your milk. And so this is the best that you can do. Well, some milk have like cream on top, but it's not enough to actually make the butter. So with all that being said, this is super simple. All you need is a glass of water. So pop this in the fridge. You can also use ice water. So if you have ice in the fridge already, you don't have to do this. I'm gonna put it in there right now. Okay, the next thing you need is a cheesecloth. So I like to use and sometimes reuse my cheesecloth. You can use them a couple of times. So it looks like this. The brand new ones kind of have this look, and this is the brand that I use. So this will help squeeze out the butter coming on later. Because I am reusing it, or even for the first time I use it, I always boil it. So I'm gonna put this in some water, put it on the stove, and have it boil whilst we're making the butter. Okay, so this is the cheesecloth in the water. I'm gonna put it on the stove and bring it to a boil. And that's just going to slowly boil just to make sure that it is purified and clean all the way. But I always wash them at the end as well. Okay, so now that we're there, last thing you want to have on the side, I like to have a strainer and just a bowl under. This will be used for way later when the butter is done. But you want to open your whipping cream. I like the ones from Sam's Club, so that's the one that I use. You don't have to have a specific amount, but my mixer has a certain limit quality. All of this can actually fit, but I'm not gonna use all of it because I'm gonna cook other stuff with it. I'm just gonna pour it in up to about halfway. If this is your first time doing it, you don't want to do more than you can handle. So I would recommend not doing more than half, at least your first time. But this is about halfway through. It's a good quantity. And make sure it's locked in well. If you don't do that and this thing comes loose, it's gonna make a huge mess. And I'm going to put the rest of this in the fridge. So now that we're done with this, all that is left for now is to take this down and to turn it on to the level that you want. As you have this on, you're checking. The higher you put it, the faster it will be. It does take a while, sometimes anywhere from 20 to 30 minutes, depending on how fast you're going. It can be slower if you put it on slow. So this is like a level 1. So you can hear that sound. It's gonna take a while. This is level 5. And that is too much. It makes a mess. But we're gonna find a sweet spot for me, which is level 3. Just because of the quantity that I put. So the less you put in, the higher you can put it. But if you fill it up all the way, that's why I tell you not to. You're gonna have to make it slowly, because if not, it's gonna splash all over the place. So I'm gonna put this at level 3. It's gonna keep mixing till it becomes whipped cream. And after whipped cream, it's going to continue for another about 10 minutes. And then we're gonna start to see some solids. And that would be the butter. But let's get going, because it's gonna take a little while. And I'll be sure to record during the process and show you how it's going. So let's put this at 3 and start now. It's been about 20 minutes. We are back. We are in the finale stage, so I'm probably gonna film up close as well so you can see that it is becoming milk solid. And so anytime that you see that it has passed the whipped cream stage, you want to make sure that you're staying close by, because it can be messy if you wait too long. So you can see the texture has changed. It just has these solids, but they're not well defined yet. And so they're gonna go for a little bit more, but within the next 5 minutes, we're going to have butter. And you wanna stay close because it will in fact be splashing. If you are far away, you're gonna come back to a huge mess. So stay close, and this will be done in about 5 minutes. So let's put it back on. Okay, you all, the milk solids are becoming more pronounced. So at this stage, if I lift it up, you can see the texture that this has. You can start seeing the butter. This is almost done. In about 2 more minutes will be done. I do turn it up a little bit more towards the end, mostly because it's more solids than liquids. Look at this. This is so good. So also beyond that, I just want it to go faster, and the pressure just brings out the butter. So you can turn it up. I'm putting it at 4, and it's just going to go for the last few moments, and we will see it start splashing. So let's go. It's already starting to splash. And okay, and once you hear that swooshing sound, it is time. If I turn it on anymore, I would literally feel the water coming out, and you don't want that because that water is also precious. So let's lift it, and you can see the butter. I'm going to unplug it just so that I don't mistakenly turn it on. That would be a whole mess, but you can see the butter. So I have the cheesecloth. I boiled it and I took it out, rinsed it out with cold water. I have my strainer here with me, but I'm also going to get that water. So that cold icy water is right here. And the last thing I'm doing is rinsing out 2 mason jars. I'm going to store the buttermilk. So when you take out this butter, what's left over is the buttermilk. You can use it for so many things, for marinating chicken or other types of meats. You can also use it to bake, and that's my intent, to use this to make some biscuits. Okay, so I'm going to make sure that my hands are washed again, because this process, I'm gonna use my hand. Very clean hands. I'm going to slowly take this out. I'm going to lay the cheesecloth into the strainer, and then I'm going to take out the butter. You can see, look at the form. And that's why you want to make sure you have clean hands. So take out all the butter solids. And I think 1 container might do. If you do more, you're probably gonna need another mason jar, but I think this one mason jar will. Okay, I'm gonna open it up and take out the buttermilk. Let's see. This one is the worst, when it almost goes in all the way, but not all the way. But I don't want to waste any of it, so instead I'm just gonna pour this into the next one. And okay, so this is the amount of buttermilk that I have. You don't want to be wasting any of these. I'm gonna put it here for now, but it's gonna go into the fridge. So now that everything is in here, let's move the mixer out of the way. You're gonna take the cheesecloth, fold it over, and squeeze out that buttermilk. Squeeze it out. Okay, this is good. And I'm going to put this in the cold water and have it take a bath, like a nice cold bath. Make sure all of it is submerged. Now that it's submerged, I'm going to leave this here for now. And while that is happening, I'm going to do a little bit of cleanup, and we're gonna come back and do the last and final process. And we'll be done. Okay, you all, we are ready. How do I wash this? I had to use it again. So I'm going to take the butter out of the cold water, and I'm going to squeeze. Just continue squeezing, so I'm sure all the water is out. Okay, I am sure now that all the water is out. And now I can put it over here. Now this part is completely optional once you're done with it. How you're going to store it. I like to store it in parchment paper. So in the parchment paper, you can either store it like a butter. Let me see. Okay, somewhat okay, not the best. But you can store it as the shape of butter, or you can store it whatever shape that you want. I'm not too hooked up on the shape, but I'm going to cut it up. I'm gonna just divide it one more. And you can shape it to the shape of butter. I'm not the best at this, but it's just a way of how you're going to cook it. Sometimes I just store it as a big piece and just take a piece and I'm ready to cook, but you can store it this way as well. And there you have it. You have your butter. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm still getting better with these shapes. Okay, let me do one more bigger one. And I'm going to store some in the fridge and some in the freezer. I'm going to store this part in the fridge because I'll probably be baking with it today. This is about 1 cup of butter, so that is good. And yeah. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Butter. We have just made some butter. And so if you've never made butter, I think it's a fun thing to do. It doesn't mean you have to stop buying butter at the store, but it's fun to actually just make butter, in my opinion. And it's one of those things that make you feel like you can essentially do anything once you make butter. Okay, and with this, I am bringing this video to an end. Thank you all so much. Let me know if you enjoyed this. Have you ever tried making butter? If so, how did it go? I combined the cost of even the water. I'll put the sheet at the end just so you can see. I don't think this is too expensive to do, and I think when I bake with this, just the results alone is definitely worth it. So let me know if you try to make your own butter. How does it go? Thank you all again, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye. Put this in the fridge or freezer. Definitely store it. Store it. Don't leave it out.